Hi, welcome to a chef called Rhonda. I'm Rhonda and this is my kitchen. Today's recipe, frittata di spaghetti con alice. Grab your trusty wooden spoon. So today's ingredients are really easy. I'm using 6 eggs. I have about 8 anchovies. I have some Parmesan and Romano grated cheese. I have a little bit of baking powder that will add to the egg. It'll give it that nice lift while we bake it off in the oven. I'm using some good Italian seasoning, which I brought back from the Island of Ischia in the Bay of Naples. I'm working with 1 shallot. I'm choosing to use bucatini. You can use vermicelli, angel hair, regular thin spaghetti. You can even use whole wheat. First, we'll get started by cracking our room temperature eggs. There we are. I'll take a moment and say, if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to A Chef Called Rhonda, please would you subscribe to A Chef Called Rhonda? It's always healthy, always delicious, and always fun. Next, I'll take my whisk. Just going to briefly whisk. Can you see that? Okay, let's set that aside. So I said we need 1 shallot. I think the shallot pairs perfectly with the alice. About half of my shallot. Again, this dish is a bit heavy on the anchovy, so you really have to have that nice acquired taste, but it meshes so nice with the spaghettini and with the egg or the frittata and the cheese, and it just gives it a wonderful, wonderful understated bite. I'm going to saute my shallot off until it turns opaque, and then I'm going to mash my anchovies and we'll mix them together. Grab your trusty wooden spoon, meet me back at the stove so you can see how this dish comes together. And now we're going to add our shallot to the hot oil, and we're going to just, can you hear that sizzle? Just going to use my trusty wooden spoon to saute this nice shallot. Our shallots have turned a nice opaque, like so. Can you see that? I pre-boiled about 8 ounces. At this time, I'm going to take my alice or my anchovies. I'm going to add them into my mortar and my pestle to give them a nice smash. Now I'm going to add the anchovies to the egg, like so, and I'm going to give that a very nice whisk. And I'm going to take my trusty wooden spoon. I'm going to collect my sauteed shallot, and I'm going to allow the shallot to cool for about 3 or 4 minutes. Whisking the anchovies right into that egg is key. The pilot has been shut off, and I have my oil and a little bit of bits from my shallot. I'm going to briefly add the pasta, and you can hear that remaining sizzle. And why do I do this? Because I want to pick up every bit of goodness, flavor, and that remaining oil from our sauteed shallot. And now it's time to add the shallot into our anchovy egg mixture, followed by our grated cheese. Now I'm pulling it all together, is to add the baking powder. And I add the baking powder. My grandmother taught me to add the baking powder so that frittata or a frittade or an omelette gets a nice lift, and this step does require 1 final and generous whisk. So I preheated the oven to 425, perfect, and I'm going to bake it for about 20 minutes in that 9-inch already prepared oiled and floured pie plate. Add our bucatini or vermicelli or angel hair pasta. Take my spatula and I'm just going to incorporate the pasta with my egg mixture. You can already see the bits of anchovy. You can see the bits of anchovy melding through the strands of the spaghettini or the vermicelli or the bucatini or the angel hair pasta or your regular thin spaghetti, and you can do whole wheat as well. To add that Italian seasoning, and that's about maybe a teaspoon. It contains some red pepper flakes, and it's going to give that nice kick. Our pasta and egg to our prepared baking dish. And I like to use my hands and just press it down nice and flat, that pasta, ever so gently. And my last touch is I just add a little tiny bit, maybe a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of the grated cheese just on top before I'm ready to pop it in the oven, like so, just to give it that last final bite. And that's an optional step. Okay, I wipe the sides. This is going to bake 425 for about 18 to 22 minutes, depending on the oven. And we'll be able to slice it and dice it and have a nice frittata di spaghettini con alice, or our omelet, spaghetti and anchovy.